Hey, welcome back to the Cash Flow Podcast with me, Pam Pryor. Glad to have you here where we talk about everything money related in your business. So without further ado, let's hop right in. Welcome back to Cash Flow. We've got a quick in-between week here. We're just back from Scalable. You just saw the short episode that Francis and I shot there. And next week, I'm really excited to head up to Jen Kem's Femfluence event in New York City, where I'll be speaking with her and a number of other people as keynote for some amazing female entrepreneurs up there. So glad to have you join us today. We're going to be covering in our news segment, we'll be talking about Gen Z and some interesting things that I think really mean a lot of positive stuff for entrepreneurs. So stay tuned for that. Our beer this week, we have to celebrate the season. That's all I'm going to say. That's the only hint you get. And then finally, in our Scale or Fail segment, we're going to talk about one of the things that makes entrepreneurs want to literally quit everything at the end of a year. So stay tuned to find out what all of those three surprises bring. We're looking forward to jumping in. Let's start with the news. All righty. So here's the thing. I am lucky enough to have two Gen Zers on my team. And we happen to also have a baby boomer and a Gen Xer. So we've got a wide range of generations on our team, which I've known for a long time, but actually see in action now every day the amazing benefits that brings and how different the generations are and how awesome that difference is. Unfortunately for corporate America, what's happening there or has happened there, I think they may finally be catching up, is a real disdain for Gen Z from the old guard. And it's hysterical to me because what were the baby boomers, right? The baby boomers were the generation of change, flowers in the guns, we're never going to be like our parents stuff. And now those same baby boomers are sitting in the positions of power in large corporations and saying, we want you to come to work dressed in a suit, sit at your desk, blah, 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 blah. And as astounding to me as it is, that's still happening. However, Gen Z's kicking back, and I'm thrilled about it because Handshake, I think is the name of the company that did this survey, have discovered that 39% of the applications last year from Gen Zers were to small businesses. So here's the thing. When I left corporate back in 2016 to start this business, I left in large part because my brain was telling me business could be done differently. I saw a lot of these things happening: lack of appreciation for each of the generations, lack of diversity, lack of understanding that people are an asset, not an expense, and all sorts of other things that just drove me to really say, hey, I know there's a way business can be done right. And what this generation is proving is that it can be done right. And they're setting some expectations. Not only do they want to contribute, want to learn, want to grow and develop, but they also understand they want to have their own life. So the real reasons that are driving this, for the most part, according to Handshake, are three major ones. First is they want to have geographic flexibility. They want to be able to work and be near their families and friends. And in a lot of cases, as we know, you don't have to be in a physical location to work. The second of the things is they want to make a difference. They don't want to sit as a small, tiny hub in a huge organization where you work all day, every day, and what you do may move some needle one level up, but you never see the impact on the outside world. And the third is they want the ability to advance quicker. And I'll tell you, that's something that ticks baby boomers off. Because what a baby boomer will do, oh, Tally, you sounded like a baby boomer there. Oh, down kids. They want to move quicker through some of the levels of an organization. And a lot of baby boomers I know are, well, who do these kids think they are? It took me 15 years to move up the ladder in corporation XYZ, and they need to go through their trial and error. They need to go through all that horrible stuff too to get to be happy. And I answer that with, why? Why? Because I may have had to climb a ladder and take, 15 years to get to controller. What is it about that that means that my daughter or her friends or anybody else in today's workplace who has the opportunity to learn things faster with technology that's advancing day in and day out, with a curiosity that eclipses even mine, which blows my mind because I was pretty damn curious. Why should they have to go through misery to get to something good? I don't understand why that's a thing that we should expect. So, I think this is two things. It's a great piece of news for entrepreneurs because it means that we have access to all of those people who want to work in small businesses because they want to learn quickly, contribute, and advance. I'm not thinking there's anything bad about that as I'm an entrepreneur listening to that. That sounds to me like all check, check, check. But the other thing I think is happening is it's big wake up call for big business. And in the since COVID, I will tell you it's been since COVID. I think that was the wake up call. I have seen a change in them trying to make policy changes, but as you know, those giant wheels move very slowly. But I think the this what do they say? Horse may be out of the barn, and it's going to be very hard to prove that they're a changed environment that can attract this generation that has so much to contribute, and all they want to do is contribute it. And big corporations I see in so many ways making that difficult. So maybe a bit of a controversial take, but my whole take on this news segment is yay for entrepreneurs, yay for Gen Z, yay for the baby boomers who are awake enough to see how cool this diversity is, and tough luck for big corps right now on this front. I hope those other 61% got you some good hires. And on that note, apparently I got a little testy about that. Let's jump into having a beer. Maybe I'll chill out. It's the season, folks. Even though I'm not a big Oktoberfest drinker, I had to put it on the table. I do think Francis is glad
We had to try one.
we have an Oktoberfest beer. I think I might have actually gotten two. I'm not sure.
Oh, really?
So maybe next week we can do another one if it's not gone. But we're going back to not really a small brewery this time, but Sam Adams. And I'm glad to pick Sam Adams because when I was doing some research on their brewery, they started out as a small brewery. And now they've become essentially one of the big players in the industry.
When did they?
Oh my God, I don't even know when
No.
they started, but it's been a long time. But the thing that caught my eye is something that they call brewing the American dream.
Nice.
And so what they've done is created a fund that supports local food and beverage entrepreneurs.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they're supporting the ones that are coming up behind them. And I really kind of like that. So
Yeah.
We're going to give a shout out to Sam Adams today and give their Oktoberfest beer a try. I love the bottle. It's all orange. I refuse. Go ahead and we can open it. I refuse to do a pumpkin beer. I refuse. But I will not.
You're not going to do a pumpkin spice?
No pumpkin spice beer for me. But I will. Thank you for opening it. I'm always embarrassed I'm going to mess up.
It's okay.
But I will. I'll do the next one, which will be a can. Oh, you poured me the mostest. That's pretty. Okay, here's what I'll give Oktoberfest beer. That is a pretty color.
It's a very nice color.
That is nice and deep gold. Okay, so here's what we say. The style is a Märzen style, which is typical for an Oktoberfest beer. 5.3% ABV, which is our alcohol content. 16 IBUs, so very low on the bitterness scale. Our hops are hops that we've never heard on this podcast before because we are the IPA people. But I'm going to read them because I love reading the hop names. Tettnang, Tettnanger, and Hallertau, Mittelfrüh. Oh, Mittelfrüh. Actually, it's Mittelfrüh, not Mittelfrüh. Mittelfrüh, Noble and hops. Oh, Noble hops. Let me do that again. Tettnang, and Hallertau, Mittelfrüh, and Noble hops. They stacked them. They made it very hard to read.
They made it very difficult for you.
And they're using Sam Adams lager yeast. So it's going to be a lager taste.
It smells like a lager.
The malts are 2-row pale malt. I would not expected that to be pale. With 60% caramel.
It looks caramely.
That's the word I was looking for, caramel. All right. Deep amber red it is.
It smells like a lager. It definitely
smells
smells
like
like a
my
lager.
childhood, not childhood. It smells like my late teenagehood. Oops. Oh my
Smells
God, that
nice.
takes me back.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'm in the Stone.
You're
Okay,
stoned?
Stone Barn. Yeah, Stone Barn. Wow.
It's nice.
Here, I'll trade you another big one.
You're
It's
not feeling it?
it's flatter than I like.
It's not fizzy.
It's flatter than I like. It's tastes like caramel, which is fine.
It's easy to drink. It's not my favorite.
It really does something weird on your tongue at the end. It's like a
It coats it.
yes, it coats it and makes it kind of not bitter. That's not the right word. But like I won't finish that. And have you ever known me to not finish a beer even if I didn't like it?
No, you finished some pretty bad beers
I
before.
won't finish that. It doesn't. It's not as bad as the one that smelled like bad feet.
No?
No, it's just there's nothing in that to me. Now, when this tastes nothing like a beer to me, you have to come over and try this. This doesn't even taste like beer.
When it tastes like beer.
You know what it tastes like? No, it tastes like it wants to be
It looks
one
like
of those
wine.
like a drink like a bourbon. It tastes like it
Oh.
wants to be a bourbon.
But
It
it's
smells like
not.
beer.
Yeah, it doesn't have that alcohol.
It smells like beer, but it doesn't taste like beer. It tastes gross.
Oh, you know what? That's all right. It's still gross, but it doesn't
Tastes like beer.
very much like beer.
No,
It's very.
it tastes like a bad whiskey.
It's not
I'm
my.
sorry, Sam Adams. I love your beers. I knew I wasn't going to like the Oktoberfest. This has nothing to do with Sam Adams. So I'm going to let you review the beer today.
It's not my least favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's just not much there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It really does coat your tongue, and I'm not a fan of that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for me, I'm probably gonna go like a 2 or a 3.
Okay.
But I feel like I gotta get off of the 3s. I
Yeah,
feel
you
like
got
I've
to.
given
We should
every
change
beer
our
a
scale to be
3.
1 to 4.
1 to 4?
Yeah, I learned this the other day. Actually, I knew it from a long time
Because
ago.
the 3 is the middle.
You never put one in
Yeah.
the middle, and that's and if you're 1 to 10, you never do 7.
This will be a 2 then.
That would be a 2 for you. This is a
Yeah.
1 for me, hands down. So on our scale now, which we'll readjust just a little bit. 4 is I'd go worldwide to find it. 1 is I would never touch it again. 1 is for me, I'm not going to finish my sample beer. 2 is it's not the best, but I'd drink it if it was put in front of me.
Yeah.
And 3 is I'd ask for it.
It's you know what it is? It's just it really sits on your tongue and there's nothing there. It's like this like coating of like it's almost like you have like the aftertaste of medicine like in your mouth.
Yes.
You know
And
what
I
I
think
mean?
that whiskeys and scotches and bourbons do that. And that's probably why I'm associating
Which
it
I
with
don't
those.
mind that with whiskeys and scotches and
Right.
bourbons, but like with
But
this,
this
it's
is
just there's
not.
nothing there, you know?
Yeah, this is the first one I'm not going to finish.
We'll see by the end of this.
Yeah.
You don't think
I don't
so?
think so. I'm going to go get another one to wash it down. I love it. All
Awesome.
right. So we had homework from last week, jumping
We
into
did.
scale or fail.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it. It was my homework.
It's okay.
I was going to take all the information that I heard from our discussions, and we've had 2 of them.
Yeah.
To
One
get
that recorded and one that we put live.
one that we showed. Right. And I was going to go back and do the budget, and we were going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Here's what it looks like. Here's what the year's going to look like, etc. But what happened is life got in the way.
I mean, we were at Scalable, which was a conference, and that was pretty crazy. I mean, the first day that we got in there, we talked a little bit about it on the Scalable recap video,
Yeah.
but literally the first day we got in there, you were like, I need to walk away. I need
I got
to
such
do a
a
meditation.
stressful. I had such a stressful day.
You had a stressful week. I feel like on and off that week, you were pretty.
Yeah, and for me, who does not tend to get stressed
Yeah.
out, it was a high stress week.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I want to talk about. Well,
Yeah.
2 things I want to talk about. One is more financially related, but the other is as a business owner, actually, probably as anybody, we have this set of priorities and stuff we need to do. Not very often do we get all the priorities done.
Yeah.
And there's a million different productivity hacks out there for, you look at your annual goals and your quarterly goals and your monthly goals and your weekly goals and your daily goals. And if you do everything right, then boom, just
Boom.
doing that next action is going to make all that stuff come true.
Much easier said than done.
Yes. Right? So the reality is I find myself every day almost reprioritizing too much. Like I think I'm too much the other extreme.
Ah,
which is I
interesting.
let life interrupt me and redirect me, and then I stray way off of priorities. So, what do you do to make sure that you still live a real life which is never predictable, but move the ball forward? Like that you're always still directionally correct. And then I'll kind of share
Yeah,
mine.
that's a really funny that you would bring that up. I just sat down with one of my friends, Ricardo,
Uh huh.
earlier this week because
You
he
do a
was looking.
podcast with him.
We're doing a podcast,
Yeah.
but this wasn't for the
Oh,
podcast. This
okay.
was just because I have a very specific way that I set up my task management, and
Oh.
he wanted me to teach him that way because he needed a
Oh,
little
do
bit of like
share. I love
guidance in
these
this. So
tips.
basically, like I just drop everything into a mind blurb onto a note in Apple on my notes,
So you
and then
just do
it's
a
like,
brain dump of all the
yeah,
stuff
but
on
I
your mind?
separate it between like today, tomorrow, and this week, and I do like today, tomorrow, and this week, and then I migrate that into the reminders app on
Okay, hold
Apple.
on. I have to slow you down. We're going to
Gotcha.
walk through this.
Okay.
So every morning you do a fresh brain dump, or do you carry stuff
No.
the forward
So
from the prior day?
normally, yeah, that's the thing. Normally, Sunday or Monday morning, I do my major brain dump,
Got
and
it.
it's today, tomorrow, and this week. Normally, this is on Monday,
Okay.
and it has my full week plan, my today plan, and my tomorrow plan.
Got it.
And my today plan is everything that I'm going to get done today, or everything that needs to get done today. The tomorrow plan is things that are a priority that don't necessarily need to get done today, but I would like to have them done by the end of the day the next day.
Okay.
And then this week plan is just,
Everything else.
everything else. Yeah. And I kind of fit those in as I go through each day. So at the
Okay, so
end
I'm going
of,
to pause you again.
yeah,
So are there things in your full brain dump that don't make it into any of those three categories?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good. So there's like the later pile as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's like the pile that's not necessarily like needs to get done, not priorities. And then it's like also like personal stuff. Like I put my personal stuff in a different category
Ah,
normally.
okay.
But like for work and for driving the ball forward, this is how I kind of structure it.
Okay.
And then at the end of each day, I migrate my tomorrow to my today
Got it.
so that I can go in with a clear plan. And then at the end of the day, too, it's good to see, okay, I got all this done today. This is what I was planning on doing tomorrow. Can I fit more in? Should I adjust this? And then I adjust it for that when I migrate it in
I like that. And then you move some more this week things into
into tomorrow.
tomorrow
Yeah.
and then leave the okay.
And then each task, like a lot of times this week could also be like looked at as like overall projects. So for
Mm-hmm.
instance, like I had a website that I was working on developing. The today's was 3 pages of the website. The tomorrow's was
So
two
you break
pages.
the big things
Yeah.
down into little things. See, that was going to be one of the things that I
Yeah.
I say that I do is, and I love this. I'm actually going to try it next week,
Yeah.
just like this, because what I do is say, okay, here are the, I don't know, let's call them 20 things that for the week.
Mhm.
And what I've found is that I'll look at them and go, oh, that's a big one. I need time to start that. But then I'll take them and break them down into the next step. Like literally, so there'll be a big thing, like say the big thing is design a website.
Yeah.
What's the next step? Get the domain, whatever. So I'll
Yeah.
take that and that'll become a task.
Those are my subtasks normally.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, because I have to keep them like in their own list. Otherwise, I look at the big one and just keep going. Oh, there's not enough time. I got to do that later.
Yeah.
Not enough time. I got to
But
do
if
that
you add
later.
the subtasks in, the subtasks are things that
Yep,
you can immediately cross off.
yep.
So like per page, it took me around, 40 minutes ish for a full page design, right?
Okay,
That's not that bad. So I put it in as a subtask and then I mark off those three when I
as you
did
do
them.
them,
Yeah.
I love that.
And that it also gives you that instant gratification of being able to cross micro
Check
tasks
things
off the list.
off.
Yeah, instead of waiting to cross off the whole big project,
That's
you
a
cross off
great
a small
idea
of them and
because
then you
that is
get,
depressing as hell.
yeah.
You
You
like go
never want
all
to
day
feel
and you can't
stuck.
even cross off a task. It's
Yeah,
like,
you don't want to get stuck in that perpetual motion of like, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. And then it's like in your mind, you can procrastinate it so much
I
because
love it.
it's a stressor. It makes it
Yep.
something that is stressful instead of something that you just have to do.
This has
And
reinvigorated me.
yeah,
I really, how did you just like pull this from different things? Did you just
I watched a
decide?
YouTube video. It was like somebody that like literally I've messed around with a bunch of different apps
Me
and different
too.
things like
Yep.
that. Like there's an
Get
app
things
called
done and
Structured. Yeah, I
yeah.
used that. I did Notion for a little bit. Like there was like,
Monday.
yeah.
Yeah, they're all there.
But like what I realized was I always put stuff in my notes anyway, in Apple Notes, and I always like wanted to have it in a central location so that I could get it on my phone, get it on my
Yep.
thing. And Apple does a really good job. I'm an Apple fanboy, unfortunately, but Apple does a pretty good job of syncing everything across the board so that
Okay.
once I do something on my phone, it magically shows up right on my computer right away.
Got it.
Once
Did
I
you
do
just
it
do
on the
like little
computer,
subheadings inside Apple
yeah.
Notes?
Yep, yeah. So Apple Notes, it's literally like today is a headline in the note, tomorrow's a headline, and then this week is a
Mm-hmm.
headline. And then what's cool too is like they have the bullet points in there, so I can bullet them
You can
out,
literally do
and then I
bullets.
can do a subtask under those bullets, and I just drop that in.
How do you cross them out in Apple Notes?
You just check the thing,
Oh,
or
it's
you can,
literally a
yeah,
checkbox
or
thing.
you can highlight it, and then you can do a strike through.
But you can actually make check boxes
Yeah,
there.
yeah. The bullet points, you can tap on the bullet, and
Click crosses it off.
doesn't cross the whole thing off, but it marks it as done.
No way.
Yeah,
Okay, that sounds that's right on my phone, Apple
yeah. You can
Notes.
do it on your phone.
So when I do notes, that's what's coming up.
Yeah, and then when I pin a note, it's like I'll pin notes that are important. So like I'll pin my weekly note there,
Got
and
it.
then I'll move it into a different folder. But what I like about it too is I can group them by month, and then I can look through my notes for the month and see what
You
what I
did.
did. Yeah,
Okay, this is really good.
yeah.
Because the other problem I have is I have stuff everywhere. I have a few things in Teams. I have
Hmm.
a few things in Asana. I have from
I can't do
clients
that. It stresses me
because I
out too
have
much.
clients. I have a few things in on my notebook. Just I list like it's like this everlasting list of 50 things. Um, I am going to give this a try this coming week. In fact, I'll try it for the rest of this week.
Yeah, I mean, we got one day left tomorrow, and it should be an easy one quarterly wise. So, it's like give it a shot, see if it works. I even do it sometimes for the weekend. Like if I have stuff that I
Yeah, a
need to
lot
do
you got
over
to
the
get
weekend,
through.
what's cool is like it makes me look at the day, look at the weekend, and look at the stuff that I have to do, and then I can get like in the first 4 hours of the day, knock four things off, and then I have the rest of the time to spend with my family.
And you don't waste it. I
Exactly.
waste a lot of weekend because I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna do a little work. I'm gonna
Yeah,
get my work movie. It's like it just feels like I'm just doing work or doing things, but it's not ever like taking advantage of the whole day.
I feel that. Do you, when you're working on the weekend, so this is a little bit off topic, when
Uh
you're
huh.
working on the weekend, do you ever, I always either need music or a show on in the
I always
background?
have stuff in the background.
Yeah, and I like, but it takes me like, for some reason, even though I'm not going to be paying attention to it at all, it takes me like 10 minutes to
To
choose
pick
the
it,
thing. Yeah.
me too. For me, it usually ends up being like a home, like wilderness building a house
Oh,
thing, or
okay.
something that I know I'll want to look up now and then and see, or I'll put games on Sunday.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a game I really care about, that just spoils everything because
Mm.
then I jump up and down and scream. When you do this,
Yeah.
like on average, if you look at your weeks going back, like what percentage of the stuff that you put on there do you end up getting done in a week?
I get everything done. But the one thing I'll say is that like for certain things, like for personal things, normally those are the things that fall off.
Got it.
Yeah, and then for I would say the big things, a lot of times what'll happen is like Thursday comes around and I look at the week list and maybe there's a project that I wanted to do this week that
Yep.
I'm like about halfway through. I'll adjust it so that the week project is one of the smaller projects
Got
in
it.
that,
And then
and then
that
I'll bump
becomes a
it.
task
Yeah.
for the next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like it's kind of like cheating so that I make sure I get everything done,
Not
but like
really.
not really.
Well, let me ask you this. Do those or things like that end up just going to the next week and then the next week? Like, do you have
No.
projects that just kind of, I have these projects just kind of hang out there forever. And I'm like, yeah, I got to do that. Yeah, I got to do that. And then I never do. I'll give you an
Yeah.
example because it leads into the next thing I want to talk about, which is getting ready for year end entrepreneurs,
Ooh.
right? And what I'm going to say about what I want to cover here is that the cobbler's kid has no shoes. Do you know that expression?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if I was pulling out a green eye
I've heard
shades
that
type
from
thing.
you.
Okay. So basically, for anybody who doesn't know what that means, it basically means whatever we do for everybody else,
Mhm.
like whatever our skill is that we use to help or work for other people, we
Yeah.
often don't use that skill for ourselves.
Yeah.
So, what I'm going to say here, I'll do with that qualifier. But I have projects, and one of them is getting my own books cleaned up and ready for year end that I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
yeah, I'll do it next week. Oh, yeah, I'll do it next week. And it just keeps moving
Yeah.
from week to week to week, which is not good. So I'm going to take one of your ideas and I'm actually going to break that down. There are 4 things I need to do.
Yeah, and if you do one of them a week,
They're done in a month,
yeah.
which is plenty of
And
time
you could
before
do
year
two in a
end.
week even.
Bingo. That's what. So this was very helpful to me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But the one thing I will say is like when you think about like so one of the things that's been on my list for the month kind of
Hmm.
basically is doing a website update for WordPress. And
For
with
your
all
own
the other
business,
websites that I've
you
done,
do the same thing.
well, yeah, and it's like
Cobbler's
I've
kid has
gotten
no
like one
shoes.
task a week done for the website, so I'm still doing
All
like the
right.
micro tasks, but
not the big.
not the full update that I
Yeah.
wanted to do. So it's,
Same thing.
yeah, very
Same
similar.
thing, which is great because it really makes the point.
Mhm.
Um, and because I'm going to give myself the cobbler's kid excuse, I'm going to say we're in October now.
Yeah.
And come the end of the year, no matter what, if you're an entrepreneur, small business owner, you have to have your books done. You have to, if they're not done in QuickBooks or in Zero, I don't care. Maybe they're captured in Excel. Maybe you've just printed your bank statements. Maybe you've got a box of receipts. No judgment here, but year end's coming. And there are 3 reasons that it's really important right now to say, if I haven't done this, if I have a bookkeeper who hasn't sent me any reports for months, if I really just know I'm going to hire a bookkeeper but just haven't gotten to it, if I'm going to do my own QuickBooks, but God, it's just lagging behind. Whatever the reason is, now you've got a couple months now, and then even almost 4 more before April,
Yeah.
right? So kind of a 6-month window. Go ahead and do the thing now, because now we're in October. There are only 9 months of catch up to do. Few things, if there's only 9 months of catch up versus 12 or more, if you're even further behind. One is it's done, you get it caught up, you don't have to worry about it. And now you can start seeing current, real time information that can help in your business, which
Yeah.
is a big, big thing. But I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to go with the longer you wait, the more expensive it is to clean up in 3 different areas. It's more expensive in money
Mhm.
because you're probably going to end up having to find somebody who knows how to do it and can do it. And it's going to be a bookkeeper, and cleanups are not cheap.
Yeah.
And the more months you have to clean up, the more expensive they are. So money you save. The second thing you save is your time involvement. Because the longer it's been since you made that expenditure or billed that customer or forgot that thing that you did,
Yeah.
the longer it is, the more time and questions they're going to need you for when you finally do decide to get it cleaned up. And that's very frustrating to a small business owner because you're like, okay, I'm going to get a bookkeeper. I'll give them the stuff. It'll be done. And that's just not true the longer you wait. The longer you wait, the more they're going to be knocking on your door going, I can't do this unless you'll talk to me. I can't do this unless you remember this. And that becomes annoying from a time perspective. So it's costly from a money perspective, costly from a time perspective, and energy. It's a energy. It's a drain on positive energy.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing the things you're there to do. You're not building other people's websites, and you're
Mhm.
not having really cool relationship building conversations with people and all of the things that you love to do in your business. So
Also, it sits like as a shadow on your shoulders through the time that you put it
because you
off.
know it's coming.
Yeah.
You know
You
you got
know
to
you're gonna
file
have
the
to catch up
taxes.
eventually. You know you're gonna have to do X, Y, and Z, and some people might even put it off
Right.
to never do it, like
They
in
do.
that
And
year.
again, there is no judgment on this. Like,
Yeah.
this is not judging people who have gotten in this situation, because there are so many reasons for it, legitimate reasons for it to happen.
Yeah.
And everybody's always making the best decision they can at the moment. But in case somebody happens to be there right now at this point where they're like, oh, you know what? I could just focus on that now for 5 minutes and change everything for me going forward. I mean, we have taken on clients, and bless them, it's not their fault they're in the situation, but 5, 6 years of tax returns haven't been filed.
Yeah. Wow.
And then that cleanup is so painful for them.
Mhm.
So I'm just trying to prevent that
Yeah.
and bringing it up. So I'm thrilled. I now have an idea, which is to literally take, it's basically 4 tasks I need to do to get priorities books and forward press books all set up and done. Um, and just going to do the 1 task each week, and we'll be done in a month.
Nice. I love that.
It's that easy. So one of the quizzes we did on the She Said podcast was basically 90% of the, I don't remember the exact quote, but it was basically the hardest thing is deciding to take action.
Mm.
Once you decide to take action, the rest is just tenacity. I think was
Yeah.
the
Was that
actual.
Amelia Earhart?
I think might have been Amelia Earhart. That might have been her. You remember stuff.
Yeah.
Another benefit, another benefit of being Gen Z. You have a memory. Um, so yeah, and
I
I
love that.
think that and to me, the decision I'm making right now that I really like is to structure these things so that they're a little smaller to bite off, And that way I'll feel really cool just checking them off one at
Yeah.
a time.
I think the mindset approach, like with the way that I've structured that, is like the things that feel like a mountain
Mm-hmm.
don't need to, because you can break them into steps of the
Love
mountain.
that.
And like, when you're climbing a mountain, if you're preparing or if you're getting to first base camp, second base camp, third base camp, you're just going to each base camp as you're doing each of these steps. So
And
you're
it's
really
still one
accomplishing the
step.
big task. Yeah.
It's even less, I know when you talk about getting up to the top of
Yeah.
Everest, I swear you're going to call me one day and say you're going to climb Everest. But they literally say, I just need to take the next step.
Yep.
They forget about the summit until they're at the summit. It's
It's just
just
one foot in
one
front of the
more
other.
step, one more step.
Yeah.
And sometimes it feels like that slog when things are rough. But we want to get the way I look at it is we really always want to be in flow as much as we can, kind of be walking in the same direction as the moving sidewalk. And this is I think this will be really helpful to people. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to touch base again next week and kind of see
Yeah,
how
see how
that
this
helped for
went.
you.
Yep.
But I just like to dive in a little bit more specifically onto this big hurdle that's coming up for a lot of
Yeah.
entrepreneurs. I guess, like, is there 2 or 3 pieces of actionable advice
Yes.
that you can give to somebody that might be in the shoes that I'm in, that just doesn't have a clue as to what you would want to
Yeah.
do to set yourself up for the
Yeah.
right success here?
Like, so if you had started this business and hadn't had a CFO
Yeah,
setting
I'm
up
by
the books and all
myself.
that stuff, you're all
Yeah.
by yourself, and you've got your checking account, you've invoiced a couple people, you spent some money.
Yeah.
Um, what I would do, even as an individual entrepreneur, if you're at all tech savvy, because these things aren't hard if you're tech savvy. So
Mhm.
I'll answer this 2 ways. One, you're tech savvy. One, you're not.
Yeah.
You're tech savvy. Go get yourself a bookkeeping, QuickBooks Online, Xero, Fresh Start. Any one of these out there are good, and they're not very expensive. Connect your bank accounts and your credit card to them. That's it. And bring in the transactions. You turn it on, it brings all the transactions in, and it already presets up for you categories.
Wow.
And all you're really doing when you're bookkeeping is saying, okay, here's every transaction that hit my bank statement. Where do I want it to go? Is it travel? Is it sales? Is it marketing? Is it software? And you just slot it into the right slot. That's all you have to do.
Wow.
That is literally all you have to do. And if you got to December and
Yeah.
panicked and went, oh my God, I haven't done this at all, you could put all those transactions in 1 month, all in December, because all your tax accountant needs is a full year numbers.
Mhm.
They're not looking at it month by month. So that would be my biggest advice.
Gotcha.
Because your other alternative is if you're not tech savvy and you don't want to hire a bookkeeper, because if you can afford to hire a bookkeeper, they could do this for you.
Mhm.
But if you're not tech savvy and you don't want to hire a bookkeeper, you need to right now get your bank statements or get a download of your bank transactions for the year and start highlighting and noting what they are,
Oof.
sorting them in an Excel file into what they are if you're at least that tech savvy. Because if you don't do it now, you're going to be doing it on April 14th at midnight, and you're not going to finish. You're going to leave stuff out, and you're going to miss out on really major deductions. And it's going to become, the longer you wait, the bigger headache it becomes, both in time, money, and energy. So that would be my big action number 1. Number 2 is if you've been keeping receipts, just take snapshots of all of them.
Just take pictures.
Just take pictures. Just have them and put them all in one folder. Makes it easy. Your accountant does not actually need those to file your tax return. And if any of you have accountants that tell you they have to have your receipts before they can file your tax return, they're wrong. The only reason you'll ever need your receipts is if you get audited. Yes, it's ideal that you submit them into one of the bookkeeping programs.
Mhm.
It attaches right to the expense and boom, off you go. If you never get audited, you'll never need that information. If you do get audited and you haven't done that, it will be the worst 6 months of your life.
Wow.
Now, and 1 out of 8 of us, I think, are going to get audited. Not because we did anything wrong, just because they randomly select every size business for audit, and they've added a bazillion auditors this year because they need to make money back for all the money that was given away during COVID, essentially. So just do it, just do it, just do it, because it's one of those things like insurance. You pay the premium, and then when the big thing happens, you don't have a huge expense.
Yeah.
You don't pay the premium and the big things happens, you have to replace your house on your own. And that the time and attention that takes is just unbelievable. She even eaten
She's got some stinky breath.
stinky breath. You got all the dogs love today. Hi, buddy.
Hey, what's up, sweet girl?
My breath stinks.
Yeah, it
We should
does.
get you some gum.
It's so stink. Hey, wait. Have you guys used that for? So we have for Gracie. We get these all natural treats, and they have them flavored with like a nighttime version, which we get. We get a mint version, which is like a mint for the dog, and her breath smells great afterwards.
You'll have to get me the brand of those, and we'll
Yeah.
have to drop it in the notes in
I'll
case there are
send it
dog
to you
lovers
when we
listening.
get home. But it's funny, Kaya like orders those treats, and they only come. Well, I think they come in small bags, but of course we get them in the pound boxes.
Yep.
So we just end up sitting with a bunch of them, and she loves them. Gracie will go to town with those.
That sounds important. Now they'll probably eat them each in one bite.
Yeah,
But
that's what I mean. They're
hopefully-
little. They're little. It's like literally a breath mint. It's
And it
like,
still works
yeah.
though, even though they just swallow it
yeah.
basically.
I
He'll
give her
just
like 2 or 3.
dingbat will swallow it whole. It'll never even touch the inside of his mouth.
His
Yes.
burps will be minty.
Thank God, because his burps now are awful.
Oof.
Do they have the same thing for farts?
Maybe.
That's
It
what we
might-
really
It
need.
might work for that too.
Me?
Yeah,
For me?
We're talking about you,
Up he gets. He just climbs on it like it's just a walk in the park.
dude.
Hi, Francis. Hi. You have to be in the shot every week, don't you?
He needs to be involved.
I'm the
He's the
star.
star too.
I'm the star. I know it's a little late for you. I love it. Well, thank you for joining us. I hope you've gotten a little bit out of this. We covered a lot of bases
Yeah,
here.
we did some task management, year end.
Task
We
management,
went through a
year
lot of
end,
it.
and mindset,
And mindset, yeah.
and dog breath.
And dog
So
breath.
you never know what you're going to hear on the Cash Flow podcast, but we're really glad you joined us. Drop a comment in, hit us with a like and subscribe, share it with your friends if you think that these tips, these small tips that make all the difference to entrepreneurs when it comes to their finances might help. We'd be so grateful. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Talk to you guys next week.
Thanks so much for watching the Cash Flow podcast with us. We want to bring more and more of this to you, so please like, share, subscribe, comment, so that we can keep bringing more of this content to you.